Remember that one night when we fell in love. What we had felt so right, cause we had trust. Now it's drowning in our lives. I know we're broken up, you know the feelings deep inside. So what's you, what we've been through. I miss you, and you can't lie, you miss me too. If I roll through, but you...
I got on the same shirt. Same day. In today's video, we're going to be responding to this comment and talking about Aaliyah's song, I Can Be. So without further more to say, like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on your bell post notifications so that you'll be notified every time I drop a video. Let's get into today's video. So like I always say, out of respect, I am going to blur their names so that, you know, I can give them the privacy that they may want. So out of respect. This person just said, don't forget her song titled, oh, well, first and foremost, back up, rewind. She commented under my video, you and that skinny Aaliyah, Larice this Aaliyah video. And she just said, don't forget her song titled, I Can Be, from her last album. The whole song is about being on the side. I'm a huge Aaliyah fan, but I've known this about her for a while too. I just chalked it off to her being a rock star. She didn't have a lot of time. I love her last album because I feel like it talks about her life and we get a little bit more of an inside look of what was going on. She already said that this song reflected her in a lot of ways. So you can definitely have verification that this last album is about her. I Can Be is one of my favorite songs. I just like the whole album, but I Can Be is one of them ones. And I've been saying this to myself for a while and others, that I Can Be is definitely about her talking about being on the side and being okay with it. Of course, this is from her last album, which was around 2001, which would have meant she was with Damon. And she could have been talking about the situation with Damon and Rachel Roy. Because I said before in my last video, I feel like Rachel Roy was #1 to Damon. She was that #1 girl. And Aaliyah was that second girl. She was on the side. And it would explain a lot why he, after a couple years of Aaliyah passing, married Rachel Roy. It just all makes sense. It all fits. The puzzle has all pieces. We're going to be getting into her song because I Can Be is very outspoken, it's very blunt. A lot of people keep telling me that Erica Kane is about drugs. What she is saying has nothing to do with drugs. She's talking about her personality, her alter ego. That's what she was talking about, I feel personally. But I'm not here to crush anyone's opinions. All opinions are welcome. But personally, I disagree with all of you who keep saying that Erica Kane is about drugs. This person is onto something. Some people know, some people don't. Y'all keep up the good comments, because y'all know, a lot of y'all starting to catch on, and a lot of y'all starting to speak out, and I really appreciate it, and I mess with y'all heavy. I most certainly knew that I Can Be was talking about being a side chick. But let's go to her lyrics, because things is finna get juicy. And like I said, even though Aaliyah had a bigger personality than what we knew or what people want to know, it doesn't make her a bad person. It's not a bad thing. It's a beautiful thing. She was living life, she was young, and this should teach others to live life as well and not to go based off of an image once again. We're gonna go to Genius, because Genius never let people down with the lyrics. So let's go to the first verse. So the first verse just reads, maybe I'm just wrong, feeling the way I do. Thoughts indecent, want to propose them to you. Listen, if I'm pronouncing these words wrong, I Can Be, and I know certain lyrics out of it, but I don't know the whole song. So I don't know how she says this stuff. Forgive me. I know you have a girl, I don't want to tie. When you're free one night, just make those hours mine. Sounds kind of like her situation with Damon. Rachel was #1, Aaliyah was second. How was that? Did y'all just hear this line? And I think this speaks about Aaliyah. Okay, and then it goes into the chorus, and it just reads, I can be the other woman in your life. I can be the other reason you're out at night. I can be all the things you thought she might. I can be on the side that would be alright. Now, it would explain why people seen Damon with Rachel Roy in 2000 when he was allegedly supposed to be dating Aaliyah. That's because she was okay with it. Although Aaliyah was talking to Damon, I'm pretty sure she was still getting at other people too. I don't think they were that serious. I don't know. This song is crazy, bro. Verse 2 just says, love just ain't my thing. The half of you might be. Enough for two or more, no hurting me indeed. Fine like expensive wine, drunk off one glass of you. I think more might be too much, so weekends for me are cool. This is literally a story of Aaliyah, and that's why her album was almost gold, because everyone around her knew that. She was private, but yet so telling. But she was telling in her music. And that's really it. That's a short song. Alright, alright. If you know, you know. But it says I Can Be is the track taken from Aaliyah's third and self-titled album. In 2001, VH1 asked Aaliyah what the track meant for her. She responded saying, I like that song because it speaks about being the other woman. There are relationships out there where a guy already has a girlfriend and he's got one on the side too. Tell me. I've just been saying this. Aaliyah was messing with men with girlfriends, right? And it's funny how she's singing these songs talking about being the girl on the side, and she's talking about if your girl only knew that you was trying to get with me, what would she do? Aaliyah knew what she was doing. Like I said, it's not a bad thing, it's a respectful thing, so don't come for me in the comments. Aaliyah knew. Aaliyah was messing with men who had girlfriends. Whether people want to believe it or not, it's on her music. Some of us see it, some of us don't. And this is my first time even reading this little quote from Aaliyah. So this is my real reaction to it. And she never refers to herself, because why would she? She wanted to not have problems, especially with the media. Aaliyah, she was a homewrecker. I'm sorry, like, it's not a bad thing. I mean, it kind of is, but she was young, and what can I say? Like, I just feel like she was a homewrecker and she got around, and it's no better way to put it. You know, it's gonna come off as disrespect, which I'm not trying to disrespect her, but it's all up in her last album, girl. I mean, not even her last album. It speaks about some stuff in her second album and her first album. Her first album talks about her relationship. Let's just rob her. Let's just put that out there. Her second album probably talks about multiple relationships, because she wasn't in very long relationships at all. She moved on from Genuine to Static, or Blake C to Genuine to Static, and people in between there, because clearly at some point she dated Ghostface. When? What's cool about it is that music is for everyone to interpret in their own way. You may hear a song and feel one way about it, and I feel another. My intention of that song is, even though I'm singing about being the other woman in your life, I'll be on the side. I don't mind. It's so dark. There's a part of the character that is so depressing, it makes you feel she doesn't really mean what she's saying. She likes this guy, but she really doesn't want to be the other girl on the side. Hence to why they was gonna probably get married. She was like, have you ever seen vampire movies or werewolf movies? And they get bit by a werewolf or scratched, and they just become really appealing to people, and people just fall in love with them. I don't know if you ever seen a movie like that, but I just seen a couple movies like that, and this is like that. Aaliyah, she would just be mesmerizing to men, and she did it on purpose to get her way and get what she wanted. And she used her confidence and her beautifulness and her sexiness to appeal to her advantage to lure in men, and that she would get what she want, and she will shoot a poison arrow straight through your heart, basically, if that was the case. But with Damon, I feel like she really wanted him, and she did not want to be on the side. And I think he was willing to do that because she was making so much money. If he locked in with her, he would be set. They both would be set as a couple today. I feel like this song really reflects her and her relationship with Damon. She probably did not want to be the second girl, especially to Rachel Roy. That is who Damon originally loved, and I still think he would have chose Rachel over Aaliyah any day if it wasn't for Aaliyah's success. You see how fast he, after he got out of this relationship with Aaliyah, well, was forced out of this relationship because of her untimely demise. Guess who he went running to? That #1 girl. He was gonna always cheat on Aaliyah with Rachel, no matter what. And Jay-Z was messing with Rachel too, but see, Jay really wanted Aaliyah. Aaliyah would have been #1 to Jay. But for some odd reason, she took a wrong turn. This is about Aaliyah. She likes this guy, but she really doesn't want to be the other girl on the side. It's a really sad story, and I like that. These songs on the album talk about relationships in every aspect, and I feel like it talks about her relationships in every aspect, every relationship that she has been. The way she just put things, Aaliyah was unpredictable. Like when you look at her stories and you put 2 and 2 together, Aaliyah was unpredictable. She was a very unpredictable girl. Maybe she was the problem. You know how Ariana Grande is the problem? I love Aaliyah forever and ever and ever, but what if she was the problem? Now that I'm looking at the bigger picture, she was smart when she talked about her music, and they already said her brother was coaching her on what to say in interviews. So of course she's gonna have her story correct, and it's gonna seem as if she's just talking about a relationship from someone else's point of view and not hers, right? And when she's talking about this right here, she's making it seem as if she's talking about just this character who doesn't mind being on the side. But you notice how she's always speaking from a girl's point of view too. She's never speaking from a guy's point of view. I just caught on to that. Static wrote most of her music for her. He knew her. He dated her. He would know, right? How to write music for her, what she's feeling, what she's going through. I'm pretty sure they stayed in contact. He heard through the grapevine what was going on. So when he did this last album, he could put in some really good stuff. He's seen what she's been through, how she's been behind closed doors, enough to share her real personality with us through music. It's not just a coincidence. Some know and some don't. This song is about Aaliyah. And she said, these songs on this album talk about relationships in every aspect. She was in multiple relationships, whether people want to see it or not. This last album talks about her relationships, and I think the industry knows. That's why the media, they're like, this album was almost gold and it's just her best work today. They knew that this album described her relationships because she was so private, everybody wanted to know. So she's like, for one, it's a self-titled album. Let's look up what self-titled means. Looking up stuff can get you a long way. I've never got my videos in order. Can serve as a branding strategy, helping to establish their name and identity in the music industry. So basically, she was establishing her name in the industry and her identity. Erica Kane was her identity in the industry. We didn't get to see that, but her friends seen that. And she has some really good friends because they are on mute. Even the guys she was with, you would think they would want to brag, but they all had respect for Aaliyah, and she made sure that they had respect for her. She never had bad blood with anyone. That's basically what self-titled album mean. I wonder if Red album has a meaning. Taylor Swift has an album called Red, and her description of her Red album refers to what Swift termed the tumultuous, extreme red emotions that were evoked by unhealthy romantic relationships she was experiencing during the album's conception phase, from intense love, intense frustration, jealousy, and confusion. Aaliyah talked about jealousy in this album too, right? She talked about confusion and We Need a Resolution, right? Frustration, it gives that. Her album is very intense. It talks about intense love. Like, it was a lot. This is for Taylor Swift. This is all I can find, but it's the best representation, I cannot pronounce nothing, that I could find but it defines Aaliyah's album great. They don't use things for nothing. Aaliyah specifically went with a red album with her name self-titled on the album. She said that really showcased her. It really showcased Aaliyah. Aaliyah's album reflected her. Long story short, I Can Be is most certainly telling a story about Aaliyah's situation with Damon Dash. Because with Jay-Z, she would have been the first, but with Damon, she was the second, because Damon liked Rachel, because Rachel was Becky with the good hair. That's what he likes. And still to this day, that's what he likes. That's what he's with. His kids are that way. I think Aaliyah wanted to be that main. She wanted to get married and be that number one. So that's probably why they were gonna get married and be that power couple, and then he's just gonna screw Rachel Roy on the side, although he really liked her. He had a baby just before he got with Aaliyah. Shouldn't that tell you something? Like, Aaliyah was going through problems in multiple of her relationships, and she decided to share a little bit of that in this last album, and that's why I love it a lot. I mean, just listen to her whole album. If you don't listen to her last album like that, please do. Just go look up the lyrics to all her songs. Like, make a list on some paper, look up the lyrics, and you'll understand what I'm saying. What did it say? These songs on this album talk about relationships in every aspect. Going through all her relationships, it was just, you know, different situations. She spoke about everything, being the side woman, someone being to her, hating on her crew, loose rap, dissing her, men trying to get at her, robbing a millionaire until he go broke, being poisonous, shooting a poison arrow through people's hearts, someone having skeletons, her needing a resolution with someone, maybe Jay-Z. That could have been that relationship, because she talked about a lot of stuff. She talked about some good relationships. Like, I can literally break down every song. Y'all be like, oh, okay, I understand. Like, this does make sense. With this comment, he knows I Can Be is talking about being on the side, and that's who Aaliyah's personality was. That was her real character. She was getting around. She ain't hard to get. The girl gets around. That's Aaliyah. Erica Kane is Aaliyah. That's her personality, or that was her. That line was about Aaliyah. But then again, she wasn't gonna make herself easy either, but it didn't take that long for her to give it up to you. If she really liked you and you was gifting her, she'll be your friend as long as you spin. I know she's torn whole families apart. She'll shoot a poison arrow straight through your heart. Her song, they bomb, but that is about Aaliyah. That is just not made up songs. And I can run through One in a Million. I could run through AJ None But a Number and explain all the songs on there. It just makes sense, you know, and she was very particular. She was particular with her movies too. Basically something that just wasn't, for one, throwing shade at anyone, or something that was meaningless to her. If you watch Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned, those were all significant to her. Her last album is the same. And I love her last album because she just talks about what a dangerous woman she was. She was a promiscuous woman. She was more than a woman. She was dangerous. I just hope one day that we can all agree on this and finally lay this to rest. But until then, I'm gonna keep speaking the truth that people don't want to see. A lot of people knew that her albums was about serious situations in her life, and artists know real when they see one. That's why her music was so platinum. She spoke about her life, and it was, you know, it was something that you couldn't get through interviews and stuff like that, and something you couldn't see, yet she put it all on music. So she lets you in on everything. Did y'all hear Quit Hating? That's my favorite song. She was like, I could say my life has changed since you hit it. That girl was talking about, she was talking about relationships, people she did dirty, people who had animosity towards her. Just look at her last album. I'm telling you, you won't be disappointed with me, I promise. And I can see why it was almost gold, because it reflects her. She knew that. When you really think about it, she didn't leave us without any clues to her private life. She did, and that's her albums. And I'm grateful. But You guys let me know what you think. Thank you for your comment, because you on to something. Some of y'all need your own YouTube channels. I would definitely support, because I want to see it from someone else's point of view and see how they explain the situations that I've been talking about, because y'all comments, they just not long enough for me. I be reading, I'm just like, dang, you should have said more. I want to read more. Make a channel, please. Y'all be on to something, just like me, and y'all explain it better than I do, so please make a channel. But anyways, that pretty much wraps it up for this video. What do you guys think? Do you think that I Can Be was about Aaliyah, or just about a made-up character? Let me know down below. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Stay crazy.
Do you remember that one night when we fell in love? What we had felt so right, 'cause we had trust.